In this video, I'm going to be giving you an insight into what life is like as an agency owner 6 years down the line. I'm going to be telling you my full story of how I started and grew my agency from a very small, tiny little operation to where it is now and what we have planned for the future. And throughout the process, I know you're not overly interested in my previous career, but I'm going to be sharing the lessons that I learned along the way so you don't have to go through the same 6 years worth of experience that I've gone through to get my agency to where it is today, so you can shortcut the process. If you don't know who I am, my name is Laurence and I've built and scaled 2 agencies, Laurence Marketing and now Hey Ewe, where we help other agencies to fill their calendar with qualified appointments. If we start from the beginning, I was working for my family's business. It was a cleaning company and we franchised that cleaning business, and my role was to help our franchisees get more customers. So I was in charge of running Google, running Facebook ads, generating leads, and then turning those leads into paying customers. And our franchisees used to pay us a set fee per customer, and then it was our job to make sure that we were able to source the leads, turn them into a paying customer within that amount of budget that they've paid per customer. So it was quite high pressure because if we went over, then it cost us an awful lot of money. But that was my first kind of indication of how important a solid offer is, because that was our whole selling process around selling franchises, and we actually became one of the fastest growing franchises in the UK because we were able to guarantee to find customers for our franchisees. So it was a very good kind of unique selling proposition and something that helped us, and it's kind of helped me throughout the process of my agency career, I guess. So that was kind of how it all started, and then it was a very natural progression for me to go from running Facebook ads for our franchisees to then helping other business owners run Facebook ads as well. And that was my first foray into an agency. That's how it all started. And a real good lesson here for everybody listening is, if you're starting your agency, start by offering something you already know how to do, or you already have experience in, or you have a lot of interest in, because it's going to make the process an awful lot easier. The transition for me was very easy, very obvious, so that was a very big benefit, and it's something that you should definitely look at doing if you're thinking about starting an agency. Is kind of, how do I utilize what I already know and just offer it to paying clients? That was the first thing. When I was offering my services, I was offering local lead gen services through Facebook ads, as I say, and I was charging a very measly £197 per month. Didn't quite want to charge 200. I thought that sounded too much, so I was charging £197. God knows why, God knows what I was thinking. In hindsight, it did give me a lot of opportunity to learn the processes of signing clients, dealing with the workflows, different types of businesses that want to run Facebook ads, and it allowed me to hone my skills basically. Because I was charging such a small amount, I was able to grow the agency in terms of number of new clients quite quickly, and I was able to understand how all of that works. So then when it came to increasing the fees, the kind of handling clients and knowing how to talk to them and selling and all that sort of stuff was already kind of baked in a little bit. So don't be afraid. Again, another lesson here is, don't be afraid to either offer your services extremely cheap or maybe even offer them for free to start getting clients through the door, so you can kind of practice and get that ball rolling, because it's much easier to get your 11th, 12th, 15th, 20th client as opposed to getting your first, second and third. So if you can make that process a lot easier, it gives you a lot more confidence in yourself. And that's the same for if you already have a up and running successful agency, but you want to add in an additional kind of service, or maybe break away and do a separate agency that focuses on a particular industry. We speak to a lot of prospects that do that. They are just they have a very successful agency, but they want to go into a different direction. So starting smaller, charging less, getting your feet wet before you start charging those higher prices is a really good way to kind of get that ball rolling. So that's exactly what I did. And then over time, what I started to do was increase my prices. I increased my prices to £397 a month. Again, a little bit too scared to charge that big 400, and stayed at that level for a little bit more. And throughout this kind of whole process, a big limiting belief for me was around like how much I could charge and how much people would be willing to pay. And something that I could have done to kind of solve that problem without actually solving it is charging based on outcomes. So charging, whether that be like a percentage of ad spend, whether that be a charge per lead, whatever it may be, having some upside to the results that we generate would have been very beneficial, because we were starting to sign some pretty big clients. We were starting to sign some national and even international clients. One of the clients that we signed was Instant Pot, I think they're called. They're like a pressure cooker, and they were a big client, and we were still only charging them like 400 quid a month, which was pretty crazy. And we were getting good results. And because we were getting good results, we were getting referred to the quite big clients, but these clients were just paying very little, and I wasn't really aware of how to charge. So if you do feel uncomfortable or unconfident in terms of charging more, then add some upside. So have a 400, I wouldn't recommend having a £400 or $400 retainer, but have a smaller retainer and have some upside, have some kind of skin in the game in terms of based on the results that you can generate for your clients as well, if you feel uncomfortable just going straight in at a higher retainer. So that's what I did. Well, that's what I didn't do, but I was charging £397 a month, and that's what I wish I did. It would have made the whole process an awful lot kind of easier, and it would have allowed me to stick inside this kind of lead gen industry for a lot longer. And that, I believe, would have made my agency a lot better. I'll kind of skipping ahead of myself slightly here, but I did end up kind of niche hopping, and that stalled my growth a little bit. So that's something I don't necessarily regret, but just wish I didn't happen. Basically, I don't really regret anything because it's allowed me to be where I am today, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, lesson to be learned is how can you like make where you are right now work for you, as opposed to looking and always thinking the grass is greener somewhere else. After a while, I started kind of investing in myself and in the business, and I was starting to hear other people talk about how they were able to, charge much higher prices. And at first I was hearing people charging 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 a month. It was really kind of baffling to me, but it opened up my eyes to realize that there's a different kind of world out there where people do pay a lot of money. And a big lesson that I learned, and something that you should be taking away, is to be charging based off the value that you provide, not the work that you put in. And you can do that either in a kind of flat monthly retainer, or, as I say, take an upside in the relationship that you have with your client. But that was a real big limiting belief for me, and it really halted my progress and not working with the right type of clients, because I can speak from a lot of experience. I've worked with both tiny clients and very big clients as well. The smaller the client, the more difficult they are. The bigger the client, the easier they are. So it is definitely in your interest to make sure that you are working with the right type of clients that can afford your services, pay you, because they're just much easier to work with. So I started looking to invest in myself and invest in the business, and that's where I started to kind of open my eyes and think, hold on a second, probably been doing something wrong here. I can start to charge a little bit more money. So we started charging a bit more money, and we went up to, I think, £500 a month, and then £800 a month. And then we started to hit some resistance. And we started to hit some resistance because we were getting all of our clients through paid Facebook ads. I'm a big believer in practicing what you preach. If you're selling Facebook ads, but you're not using Facebook ads yourself, or you're selling email marketing and you're not doing email marketing, or whatever it is, I feel there's a massive disconnect there with your clients. And it's always a really good way to be able to get somebody over the line by saying, look, our Facebook ad got you over the line, the Facebook ads that we run for you are going to get your clients over the line as well. So being able to kind of practice what you preach is a really good thing. But so we were running Facebook ads to a VSL funnel. I was taking maybe 3, 4, 5 sales calls every single day, and we were signing clients and we were signing them consistently. So it was working very well, but we were starting to, we couldn't escape the type of clients that we'd previously been working with. I all of a sudden wanted to change the type of client that we attracted, and it was very difficult to do. The Facebook pixel was finding the same types of people. Our marketing, our kind of audience targeting wasn't really working, and we were still getting these lower paying, lower quality clients. So I thought to myself, which is probably not the right thing to do, is I need to change my industry. I need to be working with clients that are willing to pay more, and going after local businesses just isn't working, which there's some truth to, and I can see now in hindsight why I said that and why I thought that, but I should have dug deeper and figured out how to attract the right type of clients and still kind of double down on the skill set that I already had. Instead, I'd heard that there's lots of people making lots of money in the e-com space, and so just like everybody else, I followed them into that e-com space, which, I mean, it worked out for me because it was a few years back, and now I see people in the e-com space, I kind of put my head in my hands and I think, like, why? You're just like fighting a massive uphill battle. It is one of the most saturated industries, and it shows a lack of kind of critical thinking. And I can stand here and say that in hindsight because I didn't have that level of critical thinking. I just followed people in because I heard that people were charging more money. As I say, it wasn't like the end of the world for us because we were able to charge, we were able to sign clients, we were able to make it work. But now it's even more saturated than it was a few years ago. I just think it is fighting a massive uphill battle. And one lesson I've learned throughout my career, and will continue to learn and appreciate, is that the vehicle that you're in is one of the most important things. It's not necessarily about the person that's in the vehicle, but it's the vehicle itself. If I'm charging £197 a month and I got 30 odd clients, that's, all well and good, but it's never going to take me, that vehicle is never going to take me to kind of where I want to go. And in the same breath, e-com is exactly the same. It's not necessarily going to take you to where you want to get to, because you can have the best systems in the world, the best everything, but you're just up against so much competition. Your prospective clients are just bombarded with every kind of message under the sun, and you're just in a really difficult vehicle. If you want to get to 100 miles an hour, just get in a vehicle that can get you there, as opposed to being in this e-com niche, which is just extremely difficult, extremely competitive. And that's where I found myself. As I say, it wasn't quite as painful as it would be right now, but it still was a very difficult industry to be in. That's where we ended up, and I was able to start increasing my prices. Something that really helped is I was investing in myself a lot more at this stage, and I was hanging around with, and this is kind of digitally hanging around with, lots of other agency owners that were charging high amounts, and they were earning high amounts, and it opened my eyes to think, before I was earning 4, 5, 6k, maybe even 10k some months on a great month. It really opened my eyes to think there's a lot more money on the table here, basically. And before, another kind of lesson here is I was quite happy earning £5,000-6,000 a month, because that was more money than any of my mates were earning. It was a decent amount of money for where I lived and who I hung around with, and I earned the most out of most of the people I knew, especially my age, well, definitely my age, in my friendship group. So that was, again, something that held me back quite a lot and made me comfortable, because I was kind of ahead of everybody else, but I wasn't where I could be, and it wasn't where I maybe should be. It was just like I was a little bit above everybody else, which made me feel good about myself. And it's only when you start hanging around with other people that are earning kind of 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month, 100,000 a month, do you start to think, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, basically. And that definitely happened to me.
Hey, just real quick, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to let you know of our brand new free course that we have just launched that takes you through how to book more appointments on your sales calendar through cold email. The course is completely free. It comes with a free community as well, where there's live calls where you can ask me anything, get your questions answered. The second link in the description is going to take you to the free course. As I say, completely free. And it's going to walk you through how to get success from your cold email campaigns. So I will leave it there and enjoy the rest of the video.
If we look at kind of once we joined that e-com space, we were running paid ads, and we were getting some results, but the quality of the clients weren't where we needed them to be, and they might be able to afford our services for a few months, but it was like breaking the bank for them, and the ad spend that they were spending versus how much they're paying us didn't really equate, didn't make a lot of financial sense for them. We were struggling to find the right type of clients, and Facebook ads were just becoming more of a cost to us as opposed to an investment. And we'd relied on Facebook ads for so long, and then all of a sudden they were kind of just not working, and I really didn't know where to go. And I was speaking to my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, and she said, well, why don't you try sending some emails out to people? And I kind of balked at the idea and thought, that'll never work. And she said, well, we signed up with an agency recently through our work, and it was because they sent me an email, and then we got chatting and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, I'll give it a go, and I wasn't overly optimistic about the whole thing. And I literally just sent out 10 emails from my own email address, sent them out to potential clients. I just went on their website, found their details, very basic stuff. And like 2 people replied to me, and I signed one of them as a client, and it just blew my mind. So a big lesson here is to always listen to your wife. Big lesson is really just to like try lots of different things and make sure that you're not letting your mind and your brain and your previous kind of thoughts affect what you do in your business. Definitely try different things. And I'm so glad that I tried this email marketing thing, because it worked out and it took me to where I am today. We turned off paid ads, and I started to double down on email marketing. And then we started to look at other avenues as well, LinkedIn and different things that we can do with Instagram, and started doing an awful lot more outreach. And at the time, I was getting really deep into outreach, and I was also really falling out of love with social media. I've never been a big fan of social media. I post quite frequently, and I like YouTube and I like creating these videos, but I don't like kind of day-to-day social media, because I think it's just a big distraction. It's good to go on, get what you need from it, and then get out again. And I found myself kind of bogged down into social media every single day, and I really fell out of love with running paid ads and kind of that day-to-day process. What I started to do is I handed off all the service delivery to our team. There's probably 3 of us in total, so just handed it off to 2 other people to look after the clients and to run the actual ads as well. And then I got involved troubleshooting anything and just keeping my finger on the pulse. But I was really starting to dive deep into outreach, and I was able to book lots of appointments with e-com businesses. We were getting clients, and we were signing the right types of clients as well, which was really exciting. I spent a lot of time kind of learning how to do it. But we learned from our lessons, and we started charging and having an upside with each of our clients. So we used to charge a percentage of the return on ad spend that we generated for our clients. And on one month in particular, I remember it very well, we actually were able to charge one of our clients $32,000 just for running Facebook ads, which we soon kind of realized it was actually charging them too much, because they only have to pay that for a couple of months before they start to think, how can we save some money here? How can we bring it in-house? So we actually then had to introduce a cap to all of our billing, just to make sure that people didn't think, right, I can hire 3 or 4, 5, 6 people for the amount I'm paying this agency. So that was another lesson that we learned. So we started taking some upside, and we started increasing our monthly retainers for our clients, and things were going good. And then iOS 14.5 came along and took a big chunk of our revenue away because we couldn't track things. The results were looking bad, and it was very frustrating. We could see the results inside Shopify, but we could not kind of attribute them directly to our ads inside Facebook. So it was a very frustrating time for us, and it kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back for me and made me really kind of start to really properly fall out of love with running the agency as we were in the past. And it's then when I started helping other agencies, just kind of personal friends. I was showing them what I was doing with outreach and generating appointments for our agency. And I got a real kick out of doing it, and I could see the results that they were generating as well. And that was how Hey Ewe was born. And that really kind of lit the fire in my belly again and really made me kind of want to get up every single day and want to get to work and want to help other business owners. And fast forward to today, we've now worked with probably just over 200 agencies, and we generate hundreds of appointments per month for ourselves and probably hundreds of appointments per day across all of our clients. We're in a really good place, and again that goes back to being in the right vehicle. This month we'll do over 100k in cash collected, which is really exciting, and we're growing at a very quick pace as well. So that will continue to grow, and that all goes back to being in the right vehicle. When you're in the right vehicle, you're able to achieve an awful lot more. I took all the learnings, all of the lessons from the previous kind of 5 years as an agency owner, and was able to just bring them into Hey Ewe, and we were able to kind of just start from the right place, and we were able to grow very quickly. And as I say, it's still growing to this day, and that's all because we were in the right vehicle. So I think if I had to summarize the lessons I've learned over the last 6 years, it is about being in the right vehicle. It is about hanging around with the right type of people, and it's about making an offer that is kind of difficult to ignore. That was one thing that we utilized throughout the entire 6 years, is just making sure that it's really no reason why somebody wouldn't work with us, whether it's charging a percentage of return on ad spend for clients, whether it's guaranteeing certain results, whether it's being a no-brainer in terms of how little you're charging. That's not really an offer, by the way, but it just allows people to kind of take that leap of faith and work with you. So I hope this has been useful. I hope it's been an insight into how we've gotten to where we are today. And if you want help generating more appointments for your agency, then click that first link in the description and we'll explain exactly how we can. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one.